Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're in Studio 22, the Chad Prather Show podcast, Thursday episode, sitting down with my good friend, and she's family at this point.
Oh,
You're family. Ginny
We've been through a lot.
You and your husband, Heath Oaks, y'all are family at this point. And I was sitting there and I was thinking the other day, and I want to get into this. We'll talk more about it because I gotta give my podcast blurbs here before I do this. But I'm going to prep you before we go to this.
Okay.
I was thinking about you guys the other day and how fast, after I met y'all, how fast our relationship developed as a friendship with my family, your family, and like all of a sudden, it's like y'all have always been a part of us.
We had the dimensions of compatibility. Like the dating apps.
We're going to go with that. There you go. So I'm going to get to Ginny in a minute. Incredible. I'm so excited. Finally, and I'm going to tell that story too about it's been hard to get you on the podcast. And we'll talk about why. But anyway, I want to encourage everybody, just like I always do. If you're watching this, I want to encourage you right now. You can go to blazetv.com/Chad. You can subscribe, get the Humor Me show, as well as full edits of the Chad Prather show. You can get everything that Blaze TV offers. And not only that, I encourage you, if you're watching this, go to wherever podcasts are offered and hit subscribe. Well, you can do a search, Blaze TV, Chad Prather. It's going to take you to a landing page, and you're going to be able to go to Apple Podcasts. You can go to Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud. It's all a one-stop shop right there. Whatever your choice is, you hit your platform, hit subscribe. It helps us. It's free for you, and it always just tells you when there's a new episode, which is going to be every evening about 6 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's a whole lot of us.
It's a lot of Chad, but it's perfect because it's like a little wind down at the end of the day. Something fun.
Yeah.
Right?
It is. And the beauty of this, you're right, because the beauty of this is people are able to watch it as a live premiere.
Yeah.
And they can comment in real time while they're watching the podcast. So like right now, there are people watching this live premiere on a Thursday evening, and they're typing in their comments. Hey, from Cincinnati. Hey, I mean, I wish I could see all the comments that are coming in as they're doing it, but the world of podcasting, I think it is the future. I think we were talking about it before we started. I think it probably another 10 years before people just really understand the concept of podcasts.
Yeah, there's the people who are all about it, and there are the people who, like my mom, are still trying to find, the podcast app on their phone.
Yeah.
But if you found it, you're super cool and ahead of the game. So bravo.
No, I had to take a screenshot of my phone and circle the podcast app and send it to my mother. And I said, look for this, look for this, hit it, and then search my name, your son, search me. And I was like, she never could get it. So I was like, just send her the links. Just send her the links.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Hey, Mom.
I know.
What's
hey,
going
look,
on?
there's Heath Oaks. There's your husband, Colin. Like he doesn't think we're doing anything right now.
We did tell him the recording schedule.
I know.
Did we not?
I know. There's Heath. He's looking for his wife is what's happening. And I'm sitting down in Studio 22 with Ginny Anchondo. Ginny, here's what I want to talk about. By the way, let me just go ahead and say, as you know, we're hanging out here. Director Mark Tate is sitting over there. He's the one that makes the magic happen. He sits over there in the Wizard of Oz seat. That's a good one right there. You're the Wizard of Oz.
Ooh, all that power.
You got a lot of power over there. Party Foul Steve's sitting over there by himself.
He's hanging out. Figure out how to download a podcast.
I think I see Second Shot on there.
You do. That's what I'm looking at.
Second Shot is on there. And Bougie Sean will probably come in and sit down with us here in a little bit. Metro Jason had to peace out. We were shooting some stuff for Humor Me over in the other deal, and so he had to peace out. So anyway.
I mean, how many jobs do you have?
I run my mouth for a living. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Now, I have a blast doing this show, and we have the best guests. We have the best time, and it's taken forever for me to get you on this podcast. And we'll talk about the politics of that later on if you want to. But first, you are a journalist. Mm-hmm. Now, in this day and age of quote-unquote fake news, there's Metro Jason coming in now. Look at him.
Yes.
Look, go over to the Peanut Gallery. Go over to the Peanut Gallery, and there's Metro Jason sitting down. You're so handsome.
Thank you.
I see why he has the name. Or should it be obvious?
And he smells just like he always does.
And he wears the cowboy body butter. Bougie Sean is here. Bougie, go in there to the Peanut Gallery and say hello to everybody. And you guys, I'm really trying to build y'all's popularity. Look at that. Look at this. Yeah, we love having
a good-looking crew around here.
And so this is a room full of testosterone and handsome, is what I'm telling you. But you're a journalist, Ginny, and I appreciate that. You love telling the news. And I want you to kind of walk through your resume because you're an Idaho girl.
Uh-huh. So
And I want you to walk me through the story.
Okay, this is a long story. So I started out in a small station in Yakima, Washington, Eastern Washington, between like Spokane and Seattle, working as a producer. So behind the scenes, writing the show, having the anchor yell at you, scream at you, chaos ensues. Then got a reporter job there. Then ended up replacing that anchor who yelled as the 10 and 11 o'clock anchor in Kennewick, Washington for NBC. Yeah. Then went to Tucson, Arizona. One of the most amazing places. I love Arizona.
I still get messages from people who are like, is that our Ginny from Tucson?
Yes.
And we have mutual friends from Tucson.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's funny.
Oh, I loved it. I loved Tucson. So I worked for CBS there and anchored the morning show, and then worked for Fox in Indianapolis for several years, and then worked for Fox in Dallas for several years, all these times doing morning shows, and then worked for a show called Morning Dose, which was syndicated nationally and based in Dallas.
Yeah.
And then that show just moved to Houston. So here I am with you.
Yeah. Which is the best place you could
It's
be,
the best
really.
place
I
to
mean,
be,
it's just
really,
where
yeah.
you should. I mean,
So I've been all over the place. And so it's journalism. Yes, to your point.
So, I still get messages from people they send me messages like from Indianapolis. They're like, we miss Ginny.
Oh,
We miss Ginny, Fox in Indianapolis. And you, so
local news audiences are the bomb, by the way.
They really are.
Yes.
And
I was so closely connected with all those people.
So when you and I got to know each other, we met when you were doing, I was a fan first, and because you were on Fox 4 in Dallas, and you were kind of like a household staple in the mornings. I mean, you were on there. Everybody knew that Ginny was on there. And so like our good friend Allison Stonecipher, I mean, she was always like, did you hear what Ginny said this morning? But Ginny didn't. It was like, it was like the Ginny report. And so we're watching, Ginny. And then of course we got to know each other. And
we were fans because we watched you do videos in your truck.
So your husband Heath, who is an East Texas boy and slaughters the English language with his Southern accent, and everybody, because I did my unapologetically Southern video and went viral, and everybody kept telling Heath that reminded them of him.
So yeah, you guys, we saw Chad in an event, and Heath's like, "That's the guy. That's me. That's the guy that explains why I'm not an idiot because I have an accent." And my husband was elated. He was like, this guy put words to what I was thinking.
Yeah. So we became instant friends. It was good. And we met at the American Airlines Center. It was a sad reason to meet. It was after the Dallas shooting of the cop shooting, and we did a fundraiser there and kind of a celebrity thing. And so anyway, the rest is history. And since then, you guys have just been family. Heath and I started doing a podcast together, which was really kind of Heath's brainchild.
Thank goodness you guys did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now you and he are hosting Second Shot, which I encourage everyone to go download. If you care anything about success and business and just how to do life right, you got to listen to Heath and Ginny on Second Shot.
Oh, thank you, Chad. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm proud of the podcast. I'm proud of what you guys have. And it was I was on it for a year with Heath, and I always felt like it was Heath's show, really, because he was the brain trust on that deal.
Well, but you were the brain. You guys will hear my husband, I think, on Monday's show.
Yeah. But we had the best time because Heath just puts it out there and does it, and it's like, I was like, Heath, you just run with it, man. I'm just here for color commentary along the way. Oh. And so we did that for a year, and then I wound up going and doing the Chad Prather show, and 2 years after that, here we are. And but anyway, we'll talk about Heath when Heath's around. I want to talk about you. You have this passion for just telling the news.
Yes.
And whether it's on your Twitter or you've always just told the news. Like, you'll put it out there. Who's buzzing?
This is probably my husband again.
Yeah,
that's him.
Is that Heath? Yeah.
He wants Heath, let me have my moment here.
Like Heath, is my minute. This is my time.
But
so,
yes,
Steve, go out there. I'm going to tell him. Yeah.
You want me to get him?
Yeah, he's out there.
He's in a.
Tell him look for the good-looking guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that narrows it down. Yeah.
So
anyway,
journalism is like this lost art now, in a way, because
it is.
Well, and I do love that everybody has a cell phone. Everybody can go out to an event and give their commentary on it. Everybody can go to something and essentially be a reporter. It's like the world's full of citizen journalists, which is one thing, but then it does kind of get complicated when people are watching, say they're scrolling through Facebook and seeing commentary. I think that people are struggling right now to distinguish who's a blogger, who's an opinion, who's giving opinion and commentary from a certain perspective, and who is doing their best to be a journalist and truly present both sides.
Yeah. So I had a guy who, people always want to make their smart-ass comments, and they say, well, it used to be Chad Prather just sat in his truck and gave his opinion. Now he thinks he's Barbara Walters, and he's sitting in here and he's interviewing all these people, and when did he become an expert on everything? And I'm like, I'm an expert on nothing. Expert.
That's the joy of being the interviewer.
Exactly. You don't have to know anything.
I love that part.
Mark, my definition of an expert, X is any given amount, it's any number, and spurt is a drip under pressure. So that's what an expert is. It's a drip under pressure, and it's a whole lot of it. X is or it's a person with a briefcase 40 miles from home, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So anyway, I'm an expert of nothing, but I love talking to people. I love spending time with people. But it does frustrate me because I was on Fox and Friends one morning, and we were talking about journalistic objectivity. And now everybody's giving an op-ed. Everybody's giving an opinion. You can't just tell the news anymore.
It's very difficult to find outlets. And I think, and I don't think that there's definitely room for commentary. That's beautiful. That's entertaining.
Should be.
And I think that it gives people better perspective if they are trying to find out what are my views on this topic and they don't have time to research it on their own. They can watch a couple of people who are having differing opinions, but it's important to watch both. And it's important to find some sort of news outlet that's just going to give you the facts. So, here's the real deal when it comes to people thinking about, fake news and that kind of stuff. If you're watching, wherever you're watching this from, if you have a local station, like your small town, homegrown local station, these journalists are not making millions of dollars a year. If you're in a really small town, they may be making $18,000 a year. They're doing this because they love it.
Yeah.
Because they have a passion for journalism. So I can't give a blanket statement. Every single journalist has the most, innocent intentions. But by and large, if somebody's not making a lot of money off of it and they're working their behind off, they're at a local news outlet trying to tell the stories of the people, they're not out to harm you.
Yeah.
They are not out to get you. They're not for a gotcha. Nobody's looking for a gotcha moment. They're really just, did something happen? Was there a murder that needs to be investigated? Do we need to tell people about what happened in this neighborhood? It's like they're just trying to inform you. Yeah. So we need to just, in terms of that sort of hatred toward the media, I think that it's gone a little too far. Now, are there people who present themselves as journalists but then are giving opinions and that then confuse people? Yes, that happens too. And so, we all just have to be prudent, just like, when you're shopping at a store and you're trying to find the best deal, or you're trying to figure out, you're hiring a realtor, you're hiring a contractor, any of those people you're bringing into your life, be prudent about your journalists.
I went to school at University of Georgia. My goal in going to Georgia originally, besides girls, was I wanted to go to their broadcast journalism school. And they have a really good broadcast journalism school. And so that was my goal of going over there and doing that. And I wound up taking another field of study, but I've always been fascinated by journalism, by broadcast, by doing all these things. And so that's the beauty of where we live today. Unfortunately, it's gotten to a point where it's so much opinion, it's so much interpretation of how you see the world that people, they don't know where to trust anymore. So here's the thing. Here's the point I'm getting at, because I've got a guy who sent me a message and come on in here and have a seat. Grab one of them folding chairs. And no, you're going to be seen back there if you stay right there. You got to come get in the phone. We got it's like Grand Central Station.
Live
always
audience here
in this deal. I know. I'm telling you. I tell people all the time, we're going to do this podcast, we're going to do this show, and we're going to have a live audience. And they're like, "Well, where would the live audience come from?" They're like, "Trust me, we always got people hanging around. It's good." So no, I had somebody that sent me a message the other day, and they always start out with like, "Well, your buddy Trump, he did this," and I'm like, "Okay, look here, jackass." This is, do you want to have a conversation or you want to create an argument? Because you're coming at this thing all wrong. Well, then the guy's like, well, I just don't know where to get news from anymore. I don't know where to find the news. Like, how do I find out what's happening? Do you even? I mean, have you thought about that? Like, do you have
Yes.
a source and a
Yes.
solution? What's your opinion on that?
Okay, so the Associated Press.
Yeah.
I mean, if any event that happens, you can typically Google that event, Associated Press, and it's going to be, look, I mean, these are human beings.
Yeah.
They are people, so they're on the scene, and it is indeed their interpretation of something. But Associated Press is what those local news outlets are using for the most part in terms of getting their content. So you, like I said, it's like you're researching a realtor. Look about this person's background. I mean, is this person who was a politician and now they're on TV? Well, that's fine, and that's actually really awesome. But just know that that's the perspective you're getting from them. But if you're on Google, even most of that's something Fox News Channel, CNN, MSNBC will all use some Associated Press content. So all of these outlets are using that sort of template copy. That's what a lot of your local news is using as well. And also, really, truly, especially if you're in a smaller town, your local news is just there to support you and, tell you what's up in your town. They're usually not.
There are going to be so many people that are going to be like, screw the AP. The AP's not telling the truth.
You're right. I'm just saying, if you're trying to find a balance, the other way to find a balance is watch it all. We can't just, look, when you really want to know, okay, if you're thinking, does this dress look good on me? If you just ask like your one sort of BFF, she's going to be like, you look great. Is she not?
Bitch lying through her teeth.
Yes. You need to ask your mother, who will give you the real deal, your absolute best friend, maybe your partner, your husband. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're somebody who's truly looking for balance, you need to watch all of the national outlets at least sometimes, even if it like makes you cringe, because you might learn something.
You're exactly right. Your mother. And by the way, guys, those of you who just came in, we got a whole bar back here. So if y'all want to fix a drink, Steve will go get you ice. All you got to do is nod your head like that. We drink. So anyway, it's non-alcoholic, but we drink, apple juice.
LaCroix.
Anyway, but like my mother got so mad at me. She texted me yesterday because we've been giving each other the silent treatment.
What's this about?
So I did my character on Humor Me, one of my sketch characters that we do. I did the Reverend Harold B. Swindle.
Yes.
And if you saw that, the Reverend Swindle, man, he's legit. He's just trying to get the gospel out there. He needs a plane. He needs a new plane. $65 million. He needs a plane. So we did this thing, and my mother was like, Chad, why are you making everybody so mad? And I'm like, Mom, I've never posted anything that didn't make people mad. And so, so I was
you've made me mad.
And I'm like, have I?
No.
Come on, tell me, have I?
No.
Okay.
Well, but I'll say like not everything. This is how people can be friends. I can look at something and be like,
exactly.
I don't agree with that. Guess what? I keep scrolling, and I'm like, okay, Chad's doing his thing.
Yeah, I don't agree with everything I say.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm 100%.
Well, now we're in trouble.
Okay
now this is fake news. Like I don't even know what to do with it.
No. I trust me. I just put it out there to start the conversation, and that's the beauty of what I'm able to do is I'm able to go out there and say things that. I'm just basically starting a conversation. Like, what do you think? Now, let me say it in such an outlandish way that, I'm not trying to tell you the news. I'm trying to stir you up. Mm-hmm. I want to get to know what you're thinking.
Oh, and stir you do.
Stir I do. I am a pot stirrer, among other words. And so I have people who come up and introduce themselves to me, and they say, well, we agree with most of what you say. Or I agree with you some of the time. And I'm like, well, you don't have to tell me that. Uh-huh. Like, I don't need, I'm not expecting you to agree with me 100% of the time. So I start stirring it up.
Well, and so for example, like that's an area people can go. It's like if you're trying to have a broad world perspective, watch Chad's stuff. Watch somebody who stirs up different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have to be consumers of things outside of ourselves and our little circle. And does this particular outfit look cute on me, best friend?
You got to ask your mom.
Ask somebody else. Yeah, I mean the mom's, the mom will tell you the real deal.
My mom found I felt bad because I texted her back. I'm like, Mom, why are you defend these charlatan preachers and stuff like that? Like the Reverend Swindle, who is just the to the nth degree extreme of everything that's bad about television evangelism, which is not all bad. Okay, it's not. There's TV preachers out there that they need that money, and so
I did not like him at first. He kind of grows on you after
Swindle?
a little while. Yeah,
Swindle's endearing.
I was like,
he's endearing.
Those Christian roots run deep.
I know they do. Those sacred cows make great hamburgers.
Yes.
But here's the thing. So my mother and I said, Mom, and then I felt bad because I was like, what if one of my kids had texted, like if I was trying to encourage them to do something and they texted me and they were mad and I was like, I don't want to hurt her feelings. So finally, after 4 days of silence, she texted me back and she said, I love you, Chad. I was like,
Mom.
Shut up, woman.
Mom. But see, that goes back to the same example. Like your mom will tell you how it is.
They'll tell you.
Some other friend might say, oh yeah, that was great. Loved that character, Chad. That was really nice.
Exactly.
And you're not getting the real deal.
My mother is going to see so much more Harold Swindle.
I love that character. Cause
you love it, Shawnee.
Well, the characters are on point. Actually, when we were watching your show the first time, we're watching.
You
Oh, this
didn't
is
know.
good. Oh, wow. Oh, Chad. Okay, that's funny. Okay, there's Jade. And oh, he's got some celebrity guests. And then who's this dude?
Trigger to Bose, baby.
And it took me like 30 seconds. And Heath was like, babe, that's Chad.
I know.
Yeah, that was the characters are.
Yeah.
The characters
We're about
the
to
best part.
introduce some more characters that are coming out here pretty soon. And I'm in love with some of these characters. Trigger used to make people mad. And then I used to do the Trigger character on social media just on my own.
Yeah.
And now people are like, we love Trigger. Don't do the preacher guy anymore. Just do Trigger.
Oh, now people are having favorites.
I know. Now they're picking their favorites. But like if you call the Reverend Swindle that number, that's an actual number. Like you can call and you will reach the Reverend Swindle.
Oh, he's in trouble.
He's
probably changed his
50.
number by now.
No, it's us.
Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you.
us.
Oh,
We have a lot of
We set up the Reverend Swindle's call in. It's we need, by the way, to change the message on that. We got 53
when we last
53
checked.
voicemails the first night that thing came in.
I
It leaves
do
their caller ID
have a
on there, so we
mean
know who's
prank
calling.
call, so I may.
Chad, we can actually call the person back because it actually leaves their caller ID number. So if we ever get in the moment if we want to call them in character, we can do that.
It tells you who called.
Oh, it tells you who called.
Yeah.
I love it.
So this is what we do. This is how we have fun. We play for a living. This is what we do. But we have these things. But I agree with you because I want to see how I can trigger people. Unfortunately, I think that the news media has gotten to a place where they're doing a caricature of themselves as well. I loved the Laura Logan interview that she did with Mike Ridley on the Mic Drop podcast last week, where she said that, and she's on the left. She was honest. She said we've become propagandists.
Well, I mean,
and that's very direct. I mean, that's very straightforward to say we have become propagandists. I mean, that's insulting.
that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot to say. I don't know if I would say that. I would say that in general, again, we gosh, when did Fox News Channel start? I mean, cable news. So cable news came about, right? And then it's like, okay, so we're doing this 24-hour news. People aren't watching it. We need to have commentary. Right. We need to have some news, some commentary, like a healthy mix, which I think was a really good idea. But then people started getting confused as to who was the commentator and who was reading the news headlines. And those lines got really blurry. And look, people are home with their kids. They're making breakfast. They're in and out. They hear a thing and they're like, wow, that's the news. That was really biased. But that person was the commentator, not the news anchor.
Right.
Not the journalist. That person was on as a commentator. So in a 24-hour cycle, you have to discuss these things, and opinions have to be shared. Otherwise, what would you do? Day in, day out. But then there was also, I mean, journalism changed significantly after the recession with the budget cuts. I mean, so where investigative journalism was at one time, there are some agencies that have really robust investigative units. And there are agencies that do not. Yeah. And there are agencies that are just sort of like, ripping and reading, which is where, I can kind of see where like the propaganda would come, where it's like, okay, this person said this, you're just reading tweets.
Yeah.
And so just reading tweets in and of itself isn't journalism because you're just regurgitating what somebody else said.
Well, and Sinclair Broadcasting is a perfect example because they own all of these different networks. They own all of these thousands of local news things. And so they're reading the same type off of the same, off the teleprompter, and it's like you can just compare. It's all the same script, and it's not just Sinclair. There's several other conglomerates that are holding on to all these things. Mm-hmm. And you're telling, and so people see these exposés of the media where and they're like, they're all telling the same story. Who do we believe?
Right, and so you're looking for an independent thinker.
Yeah.
So you may have to seek that out.
hard.
It's just
What's an
like
effort?
I said,
It's not hard. It's an effort.
It's just being a consumer and caring about, because I hear a lot of people also say, you know what, the news is too negative and I can't find somebody good, so I'm going to quit. Well, that's like saying, okay, diets are hard, so I'm going to quit, or like exercising is hard, so I'm going to quit. Okay, yeah, you have to do a little bit more navigating right now.
Yeah,
you do. But the beauty is that there's a lot more options out there too right now, because a lot of people are sort of like dipping their toe into the water of trying news. People are doing news podcasts. You know, some of those out there are pretty just basic, straightforward headlines, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, but if that's what you're looking for.
That's what you're looking. You're right.
You know what I mean?
NPR,
if you're like I think, okay, I'm a mom. I've got a daughter who's a year and a half. I still want to be involved. I hear a lot of my mom friends saying, you know what, I don't have time for that. I can't sift through all this. Well, it still is our responsibility, especially as parents, to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're going, so listen to NPR for a little while. Listen to Fox News Channel for a while.
Which NPR's podcast is the largest, if one of the largest, if not the largest podcast in the world. And
is it really?
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, because NPR, you don't pay attention to that because you're thinking, well, this is a news organization. This is not something that's built around a personality like Joe Rogan or Mark Maron or Mike Rowe or these guys who do millions and millions a month of downloads. But NPR is huge. Now, NPR, yes, is left-leaning. They are left-leaning in the way they tell the news. But they are a news organization. If you tune into their podcast, you're going to listen to the news.
The news of the day, yeah.
The news of the day. Mark, where do you have a source where you go get news?
Really, mostly now just on Twitter.
I go to Twitter a lot because Twitter will at least give you a headline and you're like, oh, that happened.
Well, and so is Fox News Channel still not tweeting? Did you guys know about that?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, so it's like, so you get everybody but them.
Yeah.
Right? Or the local affiliates and things like that.
Well, the thing about Fox is, Fox is built so much around their personalities. And so their individuals are tweeting, and it's not Fox tweeting itself. Fox is doing, if you have the Fox app, they're doing their breaking news, and they'll send you the headline, it'll come to your deal, and you click on it, and there you go to the story. We know Fox is biased. We know CNN is biased. We know MSNBC is biased. NBC is biased. You can go, if we turned on MSNBC right now or CNN, and I could take you to another studio where they are talking about Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. He is their moneymaker. He is their cash cow right now. He is the topic of the day. And they're never not.
Right. So that's why I say you have to watch a little bit of everything.
You do.
And also, I mean, not to keep harping on the local news thing, but just by and large, you're, caring about what's going on in your community. Those people generally don't have much of an agenda.
You're exactly right. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
These are hometown journalists. Your local newspaper? Sure, but read a couple of them. I mean, read a couple of them.
That's the dangerous thing. Is like, okay, so I'm going to read a couple of them. Well, now it's up to me to determine what I think is the truth and what is, you know what I'm saying? What's the news? What's the opinion? And my
but that's the thing. Look for a commentator. I mean, in a byline, and if somebody is putting themselves out there to be a journalist, well, then hold them accountable to that too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with people writing back to those journalists and saying, hey, so you're supposed to be a journalist. That means they should be showing you equal parts. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If someone's a commentator, well, then then you know what you're getting. It's like putting on cheese, like, oh, this is fat-free cheese, but it's not. Like, be fat-free cheese if that's your label.
Like, I'm going to own that fat-free cheese.
Yeah.
If
it's going to taste terrible.
I know, exactly.
It's going to be boring.
We were in Austin the other night, Party Foul Steve and I, we were at the hotel, and they sent up a cheese tray to my room as a hospitality thing, and a bucket of beer and wine and all this stuff. And one of the cheeses on the board was the stinkiest, nastiest ass cheese, which probably was delicious, but it stunk up my whole hotel room.
You just couldn't do it?
And what did you do with it?
I flushed it down the toilet.
I was going to eat it.
It smelled like shit. I got rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
No, I know. Sorry,
it was
Ginny.
probably like $20 cheese. I mean, it was probably like a $20 little.
But it stunk
thing.
so bad, which is like, I'm not afraid of stinky cheese, but I was like, this is smelling up my room. It smells like. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So I flushed it down because I was like, what am I going to do? Put it out in the hallway and let the hallway
try
stink?
it.
No, I couldn't because I had to go speak at this event.
Tell the truth. It smelled like feet.
I don't know
And
what feet
that's
smell
why you
like,
didn't-
Steve. I don't know what
It
feet
smelled like feet.
How do you
He
know
didn't
what
wanna-
feet smell like, Steve? I mean, if your own feet.
Yeah, everybody's.
You have a
feet
foot
stink.
fetish? Are you weird?
I like feet.
Oh my.
Oh
Wow,
my
this
gosh.
has got
Oh my
Bougie-
gosh.
Bougie Sean
You
slapping.
and 100,000
I'm not
people
gonna
on my
touch him.
Facebook
That's
page.
white privilege.
That's white privilege.
That's
a lot of
white privilege. If you got,
I can
if there ain't enough stuff on this planet to turn
didn't say
you on,
love.
that you got to go after somebody's nasty feet. That's white privilege.
That's white privilege.
That's Jussie Smollett right there. That's Jussie Smollett. I gotta make up things to be. Yeah, that's nasty.
I didn't say I loved them.
All right,
you
back
liked
on
them.
track.
I
Now,
mean, feet. Just no.
it's the worst thing. It's the
No.
worst thing. Can't do it.
Closed-toed shoes around him. Noted.
Don't like the feet.
So basically, what I got from y'all in this last, what y'all were talking about, is I get most of my news from memes. So I need
Yeah.
to pay
Steve
more
gets his
attention
from memes.
No, for
to
sure.
my liberal, left, far-leaning friends. I need to look at more of their memes.
More of their memes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then just like
the
line
left,
them up.
The left can't meme though. The left can't meme. Sean, I'm telling you, find me some funny memes from the left.
From
They
the
can't.
left?
Yeah. Liberals can't meme.
Really?
They're terrible.
Okay.
The right meme's the best. The gay conservatives are the best memers.
Ooh.
I'm serious. And by the way, y'all need to follow my friend Brokeback Patriot. He's actually now the Brokeback Patriot because they shut down his Instagram. And also the Gay Who Strayed is another fun Instagram. So if you want to hear from gay conservatives, these
If
guys
you're
are
looking
awesome.
to get your news from memes,
If you want-
which
yeah.
which everybody
So-
is now.
But
Yeah.
no, I just get my entertainment from it. It's funny. So anyway, do you think, like, you take this Covington Catholic school kid thing that happened, and they showed just enough of the snippet to where they had the narrative they wanted to communicate, and then if you watch the full thing, I mean, people, you know, this fake news thing is about to cost the New York Post a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an obvious sign of bias.
With the way it was cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that these are conversations that happen in newsrooms or should be happening in newsrooms across America and in national news outlets. You have to give something the time. So you have to get the time, the space. If you're somebody who works in media right now and you're like, I know, but they say it's got to be 30 seconds. Like, no, this is not a machine. These are people, humans, lives we're telling stories about. So if a soundbite has to be longer, if it has to breathe in order to hear the full context, that's so irresponsible. And I'm not even talking about like that necessarily, but just in general, we have to give it time to breathe. If that means you cut the fun story at the end of the show, you cut the fun story at the end of the show. But yeah, we have to, journalists, and we've got a ways to go because of a really bad reputation issue right now, have to hold themselves to a really high standard with like, how is this going to be perceived by everybody who's watching it? And if somebody saw the full video of what happened, would they see something different than what we're showing on TV today?
Yeah. And that's what, and let's go back to the beginning of the conversation, because that's the thing I appreciate about you, because you've always been objective, and you've caught hell for it at times, but and undeservedly so. I mean, you're wearing, let's say you do this story on the news in the morning, and you happen to wear a blue dress, and they're like, how dare you support Hillary Clinton?
Right.
Or you wear a red dress, and they're like, how dare you support Donald Trump? All you did was wear a color.
Right. Yeah. It's like you can't wear colors. You can't. Or, for example, there are a couple things that I am open about. I'm open about my faith, and not to an extreme level, but I think that's that's such a part of the heart of me.
Well, I mean, Hinduism has definitely been a good thing for you. It's helped you in so many ways.
So something like that. But
Yeah.
and so people might make an assumption based on that, but that's not an appropriate thing to make an assumption on somebody. If you're making an assumption based on that, you don't know enough people of faith.
Yeah, well, that's true. Keep the camera on Ginny. I'm pouring more apple juice
okay.
here. Yeah, keep the vanity.
On me in 3,
right
2,
there.
1.
It's all
Okay.
about you. Let's talk more about her faith while I pour apple juice in my cup. Yeah.
So certain things I'm open about, and it's I remember doing an interview with Gretchen Carlson actually years ago about her book.
What happened to her?
She
Where is
was
she
with
today?
Miss America. I don't know.
I haven't heard of her in a long time.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Now
haven't
we're
seen
gonna
her
have to
tweet
go-
in a while.
now we're gonna have to
I haven't
go to
seen
our
any
source
memes
called
in a while
Google.
either. So I guess
Yeah.
we've been getting our news from memes, and I haven't seen any Gretchen Carlson memes. But it was interesting because she was talking about how she actually worked in Dallas at CBS in Dallas, local news, and then worked at Fox News Channel, and she was talking about how everything was so private and so tight. And then she realized I'm a person too, so she started to share more of herself and her opinion, and went from more of a journalist to more of a sharing of opinion. So I don't go that far, but I do think, for example, faith is something that I'm okay with sharing about, just like I'm a mom and a wife and a friend, and all of these other things. That alone shouldn't make me somebody that can't be a journalist.
Well, okay, so back when you were with Fox, I could easily go to your Twitter and I could see what was going on, and you would post basically a headline, "This is going on." Mm-hmm. You didn't put an opinion on it.
But they thought I did.
They thought you did, and you caught the crap for it, and which was unfairly and unjust. But then you went over to Morning Dose, and Morning Dose was a little more laid back. It was a little more Good Morning America-ish.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong on
Yeah.
that,
Well,
I mean,
Fox wouldn't even let me come on with you.
Exactly. And I wanted to refer to that because
do the
they
podcast.
wouldn't allow you to come on the podcast as long as you were with Fox. And I was like, you realize we've had Fox personalities.
Right.
But the more we go along, the more Fox these days is saying no to me.
Yeah, and it's a corporate situation, and that's why it's kind of a neat time in my career right now to be able to do the things that I hadn't, that I've been restricted by. I mean, it's just like when you work for any company, you got to wear the uniform, so to speak, and that's not a metaphor for anything else except for just you got to do what they tell you to do to a certain extent. But yeah, they wouldn't let me chat with you. They wouldn't let me do a couple of other events, and they kept everything pretty buttoned up in that way. And then Morning Dose, which was produced by Tribune, was all about see and be seen. Yes, do this show, host this event, be here, promote. So just different philosophies, I think.
All right, I want to change gears. You came into Dallas and you really became a Dallas personality. You get to MC a lot of events. You get to give back a lot. You do a lot of charities. Do you enjoy doing those events?
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes they can be a
it's
lot
work.
of work. Yeah.
I charge for those events now.
Yeah.
Unless you have to, unless it's a charity that I've been involved with for a very long time and we're already donating and giving, and that's a part of that. But it's a lot of work. You know that, but you do shows on stage all the time. Emceeing is much simpler than what you do.
I do a lot of emceeing though, so
It's work.
It's a lot of work, and then I speak at a lot of deals. And the thing that fascinates me is people who are hosting an event, they think that their event is the only one that you've ever done ever. So they have to make sure that you know every detail and how they want it done and things. And I used to give away that time and stuff, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. And every now and then, I did an event this past weekend, and I at the end of it, they wanted to pay me, and I was like, "We're even," because it was such a good charity. And I was like, I just can't. Every now and then that'll happen, but for the most part, you have to get paid for it.
You do, yeah. And now people are kind of surprised. Well, because I've worked at different TV stations. Certain TV stations, I've been able to make a lot of money on the side doing different projects and events and hosting. I mean, shoot, Indy 500 in Indianapolis. Like I was booked at a different venue, club every night, hosting their event or whatever. Yeah. Here in Dallas, they didn't allow that, so you couldn't. You had to do all those things for free, which I did because I loved those charities. Yeah. But now it's like, it's work, and they'll send you the script like 5 minutes before with 1,000 changes,
exactly.
And they're like, oh yeah, do this, and thank this person. Oh, and can you wear this outfit that you don't already have? And
people think you're kidding. You're not kidding. That happens
a lot. And then the other night, I was emceeing this event, and I was there for hours, and it was a dinner event. So I figured, they'll feed me or something.
No?
Oh no. I called favor. I'm like up there on stage. Favor.
Sometimes I'll do these events. Like I hate having to go. Like I love people, I do, but sometimes you can overdose on people.
Yeah.
And I did 3 speaking events in the last week, all 3 out of town. And it's always the same catered, here's the salad.
I would have taken that catered salad and
so
rubber chicken.
Used to be, I wouldn't eat. Like before I was going to speak or whatever, I was like, no, I'm not going to eat. And I just because now, no, I eat.
Yeah.
I ain't scared of it.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm curious to know.
We need some food here.
That's what.
Oh,
You
what?
ate off my plate, so you didn't have to go stand in line.
Yeah, I had the salad, and the line was massive. And one of the things I put
Are
in
you
my
public with your keto?
yeah, we talk about
Okay,
keto all the
okay.
time. Yeah.
So what do
Yeah.
you eat at the banquets? I always feel like it's kind of hard to find like.
It is. It's almost. Well, okay. So with keto, obviously, people think, well, you just eat the meat. Eat the meat. Well, you can't
And
do
now
high
it's too much
protein. You got to
protein.
have the fat. So I'll eat the oil and vinegar on the salad and
We'll take
and
like a
things
side
that.
of ranch, like a very
Yeah.
large side of ranch.
Yeah. And I've been off the keto for a couple of weeks. I had to take a little break from it, but I'm still very primal. I'm still very paleo primal.
Well,
Yeah. Hey. No.
He will tear his way through
so-
a McDonald's.
So
parking lot.
look, I love McDonald's. Everybody knows I love McDonald's. God bless McDonald's. But I'm easy on the carbs because
ain't
It's-
nobody got time for that.
ain't nobody. So I'm about to get back into it hard and heavy because listen, when I do keto, I do keto. I mean, I go hard on it.
Oh.
It's like I'm under 20 grams of carbs a day.
So what do you take on the road? Like, what are your staples?
I take the MCT oil. I take
Okay.
my travel packets, and I will take. I've got the Man Sport supplements. We got some of that stuff, and I'm not like a beef jerky fan, and I don't like things like.
I feel like beef jerky is so your brand.
No, I'm not.
How are
I
you
just
not a
can't.
beef
It's just
jerky
too
fan?
chewy, and it gets into teeth, and like some beef jerky I can do, but I've never been a beef jerky. I've never been like a pork rind.
Oh, that's
person.
too bad because pork rinds are perfect for keto.
Pork rinds are so I've had to make myself eat the pork rinds and do it. But I try to do smart keto. So I try to
Okay,
you know,
you're trying to do it in a healthful way. Like
oh
get
yeah,
some
yeah.
veggies
Because for
in.
me it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not a diet.
Who taught you that?
Steve, Party Foul Steve did. Party Foul Steve. And then all of a sudden I got in there and I was better at it than he was.
Yeah.
So
It's like, great. He's like, you
because
can't eat that.
I check multiple sources and I
Yeah.
get my news from accurate places.
I know. Well, it's true because I tried to get you a Quest bar. Like after he was telling me he was doing keto, everybody in the newsroom had done keto, so I haven't done it, but all my friends have.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm an expert. And I was like, oh, take this Quest. He's like, oh, no, too much protein.
Nope, too much protein. Can't do it. And that's the thing is you get so no. The big thing for me is traveling with the MCT oil. Make sure that you put it in your coffee. I put it in my water. I even put the oil in my water. So I'll put
That is so
I'll
nasty.
get the Pellegrino or the Perrier or whatever sparkling water is out there, and I always put a little bit of flavor additive in there like Mio or whatever it is. But I'll put the oil. I'll put the fat in the water.
That's just not okay.
It sounds weird.
not
It's
okay.
definitely sounds weird, but you got to get the fat in there, and it works.
Oh, you know what you need to make? Okay. Have you ever made coconut oil mixed with stevia and cocoa powder?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay. Put it in the freezer. It's like chocolate.
Really?
Yes.
Like you just stir it up?
Yes. And so you could eat that instead of putting oil in your water. I'm just saying, like, maximize
So
the
the
fun
oil
of this
is the oil is your liquid in there, and you just took the stevia and the cocoa
powder. And then stir it up and put it in like ice cube trays or anything like that. And then it's like a chocolate.
Okay.
It's
What's the ratio?
delicious.
Well, until you get a consistency,
Yeah,
Steve.
it's kind of like maybe like a tablespoon of coconut oil, a half a tablespoon of cocoa powder, and maybe a few drops of stevia or a half a packet of stevia.
But you're a health nut.
Yeah,
You're a
I
workout
love
freak.
I love my healthy recipes. Yes.
Yeah, and you're a like I find with keto I can, and people are sick of hearing me talk about keto. I can eat keto great on the road. Like I
Yeah.
sometimes I like when I'm in it, I'm in it. Like there's no cheating for me.
So-
But keto is easy to not cheat because you have no cravings.
And there's no options. You're eating oil and water. Does Jade cook? Will she?
Oh,
cook?
Jade doesn't cook.
Okay.
Jade don't do the
okay,
cook
so
thing.
that's just
No,
you don't have to
Jade
worry
doesn't-
about that.
No, we eat out. We
Okay.
eat out.
Really? She doesn't cook?
Jade can fix 2 or 3 different things.
Her homemade
doesn't-
chili is
she-
something else. She's not here. I can say
Steve, you're
that.
gonna get your ass in trouble. Is what you're gonna get. Don't Jade will cut you. Now it's good chili, but her homemade chili does involve opening a can of Wolf Brand
No, it's not.
chili. So
I love you, Jade. I was just
I
playing.
know.
Is that
Oh,
homemade
that's
chili?
funny.
That ain't homemade chili.
I had a girlfriend.
He says that because I'm sorry, Ginny, but
no, no.
he said he's saying it because she calls it her homemade chili, and then she started talking about how she made it, and everybody was like, you could hear the record just scratch. She was like, whoa. Anyway,
Well, she heated it up and served it.
I
and
love
it
my wife.
Came with love.
and I
So
love my wife,
go,
and it's
Jade.
good, and I eat it. It's good.
Go Jade.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a girlfriend when I first got married, because I got married later in life, and all my friends have been married for 10 years by then. And they said, Jenny, here's the key. You need to prepare for him popcorn and a protein shake for dinner. And you say, honey, look what I have prepared. Because then, like, the one time a week you do make a good meal, he thinks you are the queen.
It's only up from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, don't go in there trying to be 7-day-a-week homemade meal wife. Go in there being 1 day a week terrible meal wife, protein shake and popcorn, and maybe 1 day a week of something else, and then it balances
I know
out.
the number to Domino's Pizza. That's the thing. Bougie Sean, is your wife a cook?
No, I'm the cook in the house.
You're the cook. See, I'm the cook in the
I'm about to
house.
go home right now and make a pomegranate molasses chicken
Wait a minute
with
now.
sweet potato and bok choy.
Oh, he forgot
So that's what I'm
popcorn and
doing.
protein shake.
That's what I do.
Nice.
You have a menu that includes bok choy?
That's the vegetable
And
that's the
pomegranate.
vegetable that the kids eat. So
What kind of kids?
my baby's quarter Asian somewhere in that bloodline. She has to eat the bok choy. Let's just go with it.
So get this. So Bougie Sean, for those of you who have missed prior episodes, Bougie Sean is so bougie. He's so bougie. He is. You're like one of those. You're like one of those dog mixes. One of these boutique dogs, like boutique breeds.
Like a schnoodle.
yeah,
like-
yeah,
like
yeah.
Shiba.
like a whatever those deals are.
Maltipoo.
Yeah, he's Chinese Jamaican.
Oh,
How the hell
is
does that combination even
very
come together? How does that
exclusive.
happen?
Yeah.
They migrated from China.
Somebody
boats
from
got
China to
crisscrossed.
Jamaica.
Some boats, Columbus, the Asian Columbus got crisscrossed and landed in Jamaica. No, we during the early,
Somebody opened 2 containers side by side.
Did you say pomegranate
molasses.
Wow.
I'm coming to your house, dude. I just want to try.
I could make some food. We'll bring some food.
Yeah.
Ask Mark. He knows.
We can-
I've cooked.
Mark knows
food.
what's up.
Mark's had my jerk pork.
Whoa, whoa, wow.
That was an interesting night.
Whoa, Ginny's in the room. Hang on
Sit
now.
over here.
Oh, Mr. Foot over here.
Wait till we go to CPAC this week. Trying some of Bougie Sean's jerk pork. Golly. Nothing's off limits, right? Isn't that the deal? So anyway, I want to talk about, and I'm not going to say your daughter's name, but you had the, not by yourself, but you did most of the work. You had the most beautiful child that's ever been born on the planet.
Thank you.
I was in.
She loves you.
I was on and you're free to say her name, but I'm not saying her name because I know how that goes. So
Brighton,
the
cutest name ever.
The just beautiful, beautiful child. And I texted your husband, Heath. I said, I'm sitting in first class. Yes, because that's how I fly. I was sitting in first class,
Right.
and these people were showing off these baby pictures, because everybody becomes family in first class after a couple of vodkas. And,
Right.
It's so, anyway, they're like, oh, this is a beautiful. I said, no.
You did not.
I said, let me get on Instagram. I'm going to show you the most beautiful child the
And you pulled her
world
out.
has ever seen. And I pulled her up, and she is something.
Look at Brighton in first
Yeah,
class.
She's a something. She was, we showed her off. She's growing so fast.
Oh, you know how it is. I mean, it's crazy.
I know. I was texting my 2 oldest daughters this morning who were in college. It's crazy. I still see them. I want them to be that size for a couple hours, and then I want them to go back to be able to wipe their own butts.
Yeah, but I was going to say, did you ever potty train? Because
We did, and we watched so let me just tell you.
do you have tips? Because I would accept them right now.
Okay, so I can't recommend my tips. Like, how are we doing on time, Mark? How are we doing?
I really
You're
need
at
these
48
tips.
minutes.
We're 48 minutes. Okay, so we'll wind it up here in a minute. But I just want to tell you, so like my Olivia, she just turned 15. Just turned 15 back in February 5th, earlier this month. So Olivia, the only way you could potty train her, like she was one of those stubborn kids, because after we had the first 2, and they were just the best human beings ever, and I was like, we can have 100 of these. And then Olivia came and ruined that theory. And so Olivia was stubborn, and she'd sit on the potty, and we would have to watch the Polar Express. Now, for her, we had those little pop-up DVD things that you could play it had to be the Polar Express, and she'd watch like half the freaking movie just sitting on the toilet. I'm like, look, we're not here to be comfortable. We're here to poop. We're here to
so
get
she
this
wouldn't
done.
go. She would watch the whole.
And so like we would just be like nodding off like this, just trying to get her to poop. So there were, all these different things. I don't know. You just got to make them do it.
Like, here's me in the middle of the night. It's like midnight, and I'm Googling every single possible tip. I'm like writing back on random blogs. I'm in all these Facebook groups. It's a complete disaster.
So you're potty training.
Oh, it just happens?
It does. I mean,
they will at some point in time.
When I was in kindergarten,
They will at some point.
your friends start making fun of you.
Go in. Like when you're playing t-ball, sitting in right field, pissing your pants, they will mock you, and you'll be like, you know what? Maybe this whole toilet thing has some merit. Yeah.
My kid took it. She took her time, and then it was just the process. Was, all right, we're gonna sit here. We sat. I mean, same thing. I sat on the toilet with her, and I'm like, are we gonna be here all day?
Yeah.
And just wait for it to happen.
Now, girls are different from boys. Hormones and all that affect, the urges and stuff.
They don't
like
have
that.
hormones at 18 months.
Hormones?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, they do. Go read it.
I
3 girls.
take
one
back my
boy.
request for advice.
Party Foul Steve gets his news from memes. So, trust me, parenting advice. Although he has raised 4 really good kids, I got to give it to him. I don't know that he was involved, but they were pretty good kids. Anyway, never take potty training advice from a Marine with long hair. That's
man.
right there. That's a T-shirt. We should do that as a T-shirt.
Yeah.
No, I wish I had. There's no shortcuts with parenting.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's a human being. It's a human being. And they're at a place, that's hard, but you guys have done a fantastic job. I love just watching this kid eat. Like, you have that little, I thought about y'all yesterday because we went in this little boutique shop Jade and I did. We were in downtown Fort Worth, and we went and they had the little thing, like her little bib that she wears that has
the holder, the
that
catcher.
catches the food. And she's always just like, I know that avocado's right there. I'll get to it in a minute.
She said she does
she's
save
like,
it for
she'll
later.
Pick it up. She's like, I'll eat that later. I'm gonna pick up one of these honeycombs right here. That tastes like Sean Bougie Sean's pomegranate maple molasses.
That's true. That's an accurate representation.
Girl, who put this bok choy in here? Sean,
That's how I eat
Bougie
off the
Sean
table.
bok choy. Now y'all know why we call him Bougie Sean. He's cooking with freaking bok choy to feed the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is
Shut
there?
up, Sean. Just
No,
you
I mean,
can't
that's
salvage
legit.
this.
I'm getting his recipe later.
I got it from Bon Appetit. I got it
Olive
from
oil,
Bon
salt,
Appetit.
and pepper.
Bon Appetit is the best
Bacon
magazine to get cooking recipes from. A few years ago, I was working local news. I interviewed Ruth Reichel, who was the editor-in-chief of Bon Appetit, and we walked around the whole place, and she said, if you go to the recipe from Bon Appetit, if you follow to a T, it's going to come out exactly how it is. They do so many tests on it, and every recipe
Really?
I've ever done to a T is phenomenal on it.
So
Call
we
me
got
bougie.
into the HelloFresh deal where they deliver.
Oh, yeah. Do you love it?
Yeah, we do. But I have to be careful with it because it's not all keto.
Right.
But it's a very healthy meal. Jade loves it because it sends all the right amounts and like she has a blast. Like she had, they'll get in there and they'll, when I say they, the kids, she's in there like with Brandon and they're in there cooking and they're just having a great time doing it. Because it sends all the right amounts. You just put it in the deal, and they send you these big placards that tell you, okay, here's what you're going to do.
So she does cook.
She does. I like to give Jade
Go
a hard time.
HelloFresh.
Yeah, but HelloFresh is great. So we, I burped. We're on the. Did you hear that? Could you? Yeah, it was right there. Boom, there it is. It's the apple juice. I am on the road so much that I don't really get to enjoy it as much as.
Yeah.
But it really is fantastic. Everything they send you like 3 meals in a box, and I should get paid.
I was going to ask if you were sponsored by them.
No,
They
we pay
do.
for it.
You need to get that because you guys are already doing it, and they definitely have.
And the food's good.
Yeah, we
the food
did
is
it a
the,
few
the
times.
recipes are actually good. They're good.
But then I just thought, I don't know. I cooked my popcorn and protein shakes, so I got my thing going.
I know they haven't. HelloFresh hasn't sent us popcorn and shakes yet, but I'm a kitchen guy. I love being in the kitchen. I love to do it, but I just don't have the time to do it anymore.
So when you do cook, it's all out, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like all the Christmas dinners, all the Thanksgiving dinners, all of those major event dinners, I cook them all by myself. Everything, all of it.
Really?
Yes, I receive. My mother-in-law will bring over a sweet potato casserole, which I don't even care for because I'm not a sweet potato guy.
Uh-huh.
But I will eat a little bit of it because she makes a good one, I guess. But I cook it all. Everything. You name it.
Wow.
The full, you name it, it's on the table. I cook it all.
That's impressive.
And I make it all come out at the same time.
Do you have 10 ovens?
No, but I'm an artist, so I do what I do. No, I'm serious when I say that. Like my mother, that was a big thing growing up. My mother used to get so pissed off at my father because she was like, and my father worked hard.
Yeah.
And my father was not a healthy man because he had diabetes and stuff like that. And for the longest time, he didn't know he had diabetes. And so my father would work hard early mornings, late nights, and he would come home, he would eat his dinner, and what happened, he'd sit in front of the TV in his recliner and he'd fall asleep. And my mother, that used to frustrate her. She was like, you're not going to do that. You're going to cook. You're going to learn how to cook. You're going to do these things and all that. And then the big thing was you got to make it all come out at the same time. So you can't have mashed potatoes that have been sitting on the counter for 45 minutes while you're still waiting on the
an art.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, it's definitely an art, especially on a holiday like that. I did a couple of them. Well, actually, ever since I've gotten married, it's like now our moms do, the mothers-in-laws have done it, and I haven't done a full meal. But it's like, yeah, I mean, I feel like I had a spreadsheet. Like this goes in at this time, and then you run over to the neighbors and use their oven for this item at this time, and this was made yesterday but packaged in this way.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, Ginny.
Thank you.
First of all, because you put up with your husband.
Thank you.
That dude. Anyway, your Twitter is at Ginny
Anchondo TV.
Mm-hmm. At Ginny Anchondo. I want everybody to go right there and follow at Ginny Anchondo TV on Twitter. And I have people who say, well, we don't do Twitter. You should do Twitter.
Yeah.
People should do. You don't have to comment. Just get on there and read what's going on.
Or Instagram.
Get on Instagram. Is it the same on Instagram?
It's just Ginny Anchondo on Facebook and Instagram.
At Ginny Anchondo on Instagram and Ginny Anchondo on Facebook.
Yes.
Are you Twitter? You're Twitter verified.
I'm Twitter verified. When I left Fox, I became unverified on Instagram. So if anybody has any tips.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
Isn't that weird? I'm still verified on, and I became unverified on Facebook, but I got re-verified on Facebook and
I hate all
Twitter, but not on Instagram. And I like Instagram because I think Instagram's just fun and positive and cool. And I love the swipe up. I can post an article, people can swipe up or not. They can move on. I do like random polls. I show my husband behind the scenes, my daughter. I just think it's fun.
Well, you do a great job of that on your 24-hour story because you click on that thing and you're talking and you're, hey guys.
That is what I need to switch it up. I need to switch it up.
No, it's good. We have our things. We all do, And so it's fun to do it, and I love keeping up with the family because y'all are family, and I just love y'all.
Well, we love you, and we're just so proud of everything you're doing, and we love, love, love your show and the large cast of characters.
It's not all about me, Sometimes we got to have Bougie Sean and Metro Jason. Metro Jason is so vain. He doesn't even stick around unless he's going to be like premiered on the show. Like he's got to be primary. Jason hits the road.
Where is he?
He needed a makeup.
He left because
he's working on the episode actually.
Is he?
Oh, he's working.
I can't say anything. Those guys work. Sean and Jason and they Party Foul and Mark. They work hard. They work. I mean, Mark just kind of sits there. He's like a decoration for the room. And
I'm just here to look at it.
Just hit a button. You didn't even put socks on today.
No.
What's wrong with you?
Well, no show socks. Peds.
I know. So anyway, Ginny, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
What's next for you? Do you have any idea, or are you just making it up as you go along?
I'm definitely making up as I go along. I'm actually working on a video project, but have I told you about the new fitness business?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, that's like a whole other story.
Tell us about it. Come on. Look, this is the Chad Prather Show extra. This is
sorry.
This is the after hours.
I'll make it short. You guys need to try this wherever you are, but there is a facility called Hot Works, which is a workout inside of an infrared sauna. So here's the deal. I'm not kidding you. I went to it a month ago.
People have too much time on their hands to come up with this stuff.
No. You have too much time on your hands to not. You have to do this. It's efficiency. So what if I was like, oh, let me tell you about all the benefits of infrared sauna. Well, you're going to have time to work out and go to the sauna. No, you're going to do both at once. Work out inside the sauna. So you're getting the benefits of the infrared heat, which is detoxification, and then you're working out at the same time.
Give me the vanity shot. Give me the vanity shot.
Feel me?
Come on, give me. This just in. Social media star and podcast host Chad Prather with Blaze TV was found dead in an infrared sauna while trying to exercise in 137,000 degrees. At least he didn't die sticking meth up his butt like the guy in L.A.
I cannot wait for us to open up so you can come.
Oh, I'm coming.
You're going to
I'm
love
coming.
it.
Did you see the dude in L.A.? And that's a sad story. Did you see that guy, KTLA? The dude, they found him in a hotel. He was having a sexual relationship with a man he met on Grindr, and he put meth rocks up his butt along with other things, and he died because he vomited inside of his rubber mask. That's America, folks. That's where we're living.
It wasn't in an infrared sauna.
He was an anchor at KTLA,
Yes.
and so anyway, yeah, no, it wasn't in a. Hey, but you don't know what's going to go on in your infrared sauna.
We do. We'll have security cameras.
Okay.
So just
All right.
watch your back.
Literally.
So I tried this a month ago. The second that I left, I called their corporate headquarters and I was like, I'm obsessed with this. I need to know more. I need to open up one near me. Everyone needs to try this.
So you're franchising.
And then we went to New Orleans. Remember when we went to New
Yeah,
Orleans?
sure.
That's what that was about.
Okay.
For me. And then I met the creators.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to open one. So anyway, that's just like a random side project.
I
but
love it. Good for you.
Have to
What's
come
it called
to
again?
Hotworks. HOTWORX.
See, I knew they had to do an X in there. Like you can't just put KS anymore. You're gonna hot
That's not sexy.
WORX.
Hot works.
Hot Works. Bougie Sean, we're going to Hot Works.
I'm not doing hot works.
You're
I'm
doing
good.
Hot Works.
No,
You're
I'm
going
good.
to do Hot
Doing
Works. If
Hot
I'm doing
Works.
hot
In New
if I'm
Orleans?
No,
not in New Orleans. You're not going to the
Metroplex.
Pride Parade
I do
party
spin.
foul.
I'm good. I'm
No.
not spin.
Spin
I spin.
Oh, well, there
like
are
spin.
spin bikes inside of one of the saunas.
inside a sauna.
Yes, it's
Steve,
125
this is
degrees.
a recipe for disaster.
No, it's amazing.
I'm
You're
I
gonna
gonna
love
love
it.
sweat
I'm going to
so
do
much.
it. Anything that makes me sweat to death,
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's a perfect combo for keto.
I'm going to die pretty.
Yeah.
I'm going to die pretty. Go to where you get podcasts. I don't care if you just watched this episode. I want you to still go where you get podcasts and hit subscribe to the Chad Prather Show. You can get it on any platform you need it, whether it's Apple, Android, whatever you do. You can go to Stitcher, SoundCloud, hit download, hit subscribe. I want you to get notified every week. And I don't care if you just play a podcast episode for 20 seconds. I want you downloading this thing. We need you to do it. Thank you, Ginny, for coming on. You are ever lovely, ever inspiring. I appreciate you so much and your family.
you.
So God bless you. Always welcome on here and keep telling the truth.
Thank you, Chad.
I like that.
Thank you so much.
You're
Your show's
awesome.
awesome.
Thank
This is fun.
you. Don't you love my look at my logo here? Isn't that? Let's just admire. Every episode we try to take a minute to just admire the decal right here on the front, the Chad Prather Show. We actually have we're making some whiskey glasses that have the bullet. Have you seen the ones with the bullet that are embedded in the glass? And we're gonna have that logo on those whiskey
Well, that's
tumblers.
edgy.
I know. We're gonna start sitting out here. We're gonna drink with some class that has a bullet. Not allowed in Washington D.C. because you can't bring guns into Washington D.C. Anyway, so on behalf of everybody hanging out here in the studio, Ginny and Anchondo, thank you so much for coming in here. We love you guys. God bless you, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.